Here we are again, once more, back together. 3 weeks ago, Mr. Steve had some air conditioning installed upstairs in the house. And I said to Steve, I said, do we really need air conditioning 3 weeks ago? All I can say is it might be the best thing Steve has ever done. Hi everybody, here we go. English Addict is back with you once more, and yes, we are live on a hot day, but not as hot as it was last week. Coming to you live from England.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun.
We are having fun, are we? Are we having fun?
Yes!
Yes, we are. We are back together again. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. Are you cool? Oh my goodness. What a week it has been. Last week it was so hot here in England, 37.5 degrees. That was the normal temperature. So in real terms, it would have been around 40 or 41. But it was a hot one. Did you manage to stay cool? As I just mentioned, about 3 weeks ago, Steve decided to have some air conditioning installed upstairs to keep part of the house nice and cool, and I thought maybe it was a little bit too extravagant. I thought we didn't really need it. All I can say is last week that air conditioning was on for the whole time, keeping at least the upstairs of the house nice and cool. It was a wonderful experience. Not the heat. The heat was awful. It was far too hot, especially here in the studio. Last week I could not come in here. It was too hot. It was over 40 degrees in the studio last week. Fortunately, I did not need to use the studio at all, so I didn't use it last week. And even if I needed it, I would not be able to use it because it was too hot. It was much too hot. Anyway, today it is a little cooler. It is not as bad as it was, even though we do have 21 Celsius today, which is much better, even though it is rather humid. So what about you? Was it hot where you are last week? Right across Europe. In fact, in France, it was even hotter in France. Over 40 degrees in Paris. That is hot. Very hot. Anyway, the good news is it's much cooler today, even though we were all suffering last week with the heat. In fact, I can tell you now, we have at the back of the house, we have some sheep in the field, and they were really struggling last week in the heat. And there is one sheep now that is not feeling very well. In fact, this morning I noticed it was lying on the floor, lying on the ground. It did not look very well. So I went up to the top of the hill at the back of the house and I took some water in a bucket up to this little sheep. And guess what? It stood up and it did drink some of the water. So I hope my little intervention helped. Intervention. Oh, that's a good one. So someone who comes forward and maybe interrupts a certain flow of a habit or behavior. Intervention. Quite often friends will have an intervention if one of their other friends or a friend in their group is having some sort of difficulty. They have an intervention to interrupt or to step in at a certain period of time. We say that you intervene. So that's what I did this morning. I decided to go and help a poor distressed sheep at the back of the house who was not looking very well at all. At least now it's walking around, it's standing up and it's walking around. So that is pretty good. I hope you can hear me okay. I had some problems last week with the sound and also the week before as well. So I hope today you can hear me all right. I hope I am coming through clearly today. English Addict is with you. We have a lot of things to talk about. I am trying my best to keep cool here in the studio. I have my lovely electric fan working away. Also, I have the window open as well into the studio, which is unusual for me. I don't normally have the window open, but today I've opened it because it is just too hot here today. Hello to the live chat. Nice to see you here today. We have a lot of things to talk about. Of course, we will have our lovely object to show you. Today we are looking at a particular tool. Don't you say anything. Please keep it clean. So we are looking at a certain tool today on the live chat. Also, we have the mystery idioms as well to solve. And we are talking about some other things as well. We have a very interesting word to look at because I like the English language. You might say that I am an English addict, and I have a feeling maybe you are one of those as well. Also, we are looking at the future. Is it possible to see into the future? Is it possible to predict the future? There are some ways of predicting what might happen in the near future using science. But maybe there are other ways as well, maybe mystical ways using psychic power to understand or maybe reveal what will happen in the future. Some people do believe it and some people don't. But later on today we are looking at the subject of the future. These days we worry a lot about the future for many reasons. I suppose the most obvious one is climate. We were just talking about it a few moments ago with all of the hot weather. A lot of people concerned with the future of this planet. If it gets too hot, what will happen? Will we all burst into flames or dry out and become all sand-like and flaky? So that's what we're talking about today. Also, we have something else to talk about as well. I'm going to mention a lovely gift that I received during our recent rendezvous in London. We had the most amazing time in London. Did you see what happened? Well, we had one or two problems, but we also had some lovely moments of time as well. Can I say a big thank you to Christina for your lovely gift? Now, I didn't mention this last week or the week before, so today I'm going to mention it. Thank you, Christina, for your lovely gift. And there it is. Look in the studio in my window and you can see the English Addict family. So on this very interesting picture, which is actually made of plastic. So this is a type of picture that has been, I think it's been 3D printed. It's very interesting. So you can't see the photograph. You can't see it until you shine light through the back of it. And when the light goes through, you can actually see the picture that has been printed out using plastic. And there you can see on the left, Mr. Steve, There is also Christina. Thank you, Christina, for your lovely gift. Also Beatrice, Francesca, and there he is in the middle on the right, Luis Mendez. And at the front on the right, yes, it's me. Thank you very much for your lovely gift. And yes, it is now standing in my studio in the window, allowing the light to shine through it. It looks ever so nice, by the way. I've just realised there might be some flies in the studio today. I think there is a fly crawling up my leg. It might not sound like a bad thing, but I am wearing shorts. I don't want any flies in my underpants. Not today anyway, it's too hot for that sort of thing. Also coming up today, we have some lovely images to show you, some nature as well. Now, a couple of nights ago, I went outside to have a look around because the weather was quite okay. It was good. It was sunny. It was hot. But of course, in the evening, quite often, it will become cool. So a couple of nights ago, I decided to go out and have a little walk with Mr. Steve. Would you like to see what happened? Okay, we will do that right now. So that was recorded a couple of nights ago, and I managed to film some rather nice scenes. And of course, you can see there in the field, the farmer has already started gathering the winter feed. So this is grass that has been collected by the farmer, and it will be used later in the year to feed the animals. English Addict is with you today. I hope you are having a good Sunday. We are coming towards the end of June already. We are saying farewell to June. We hardly knew you. July is just around the corner. A lot of people, of course, are thinking of going on holiday at this time of year. Maybe you have been away, maybe you are about to go away on holiday. I hope you have a good time wherever you go, wherever you happen to be going. I hope you have a good holiday indeed. We have the live chat. Hello to the live chat. It would not be this without you being there, chatting to myself and also everyone else. Hello, Beatrice. Oh, guess what? You are first on today's live chat. Well done. Well done to you, Beatrice. You are first We also have Barry. Hello, Barry Wood. Also Vitas as well. Hi there. I hope you are having a good day and you are staying cool in wherever you happen to be watching at the moment. I hope the place is very cool. Valentin is here. We also have Nicholas is here as well. Hello to Hey Hash, H Ash, or should I say Hash? Please can you add an option for adding questions through a link? Well, that is a good idea. The only problem is I have no idea how to do it. And also we have Flower as well. Of course, you can send your questions to me on the live chat and to my email address as well. Paco is here. Hello, Paco. Nice to see you back with us as well. Alessandro is here. Priyank Kumari is here as well. Where are you watching at the moment? Please let me know. I'm always interested to find out where you are watching in the world. We also have Maurizio, who says, hello, Mr. Duncan, and all of the English addicts. Hello to you as well. It's nice to see you here. Milad is here as well. Milad Javadi. Hello, Mr. Duncan. We have very good air conditioning in Iran, but we do not have electricity. That can be a problem. In fact, I can let you in on a secret. Can I tell you a secret? We had no power yesterday. The electricity went off. So it's not just where you are, it's also here as well. We often have power cuts, especially where I live in the countryside. But I hope you stay cool. I would imagine in certain countries around the world, there must be many places with lots and lots of lovely air conditioning. I remember from my time in Malaysia, when I used to go there, everything, everywhere you went, all of the offices, the shops, the big shopping centres, there would always be lots and lots of lovely air conditioning. In fact, I think a lot of people used to go to the shops in Malaysia just to be cool with the lovely air conditioning. I think so. As I mentioned a few moments ago, yes, he is here with us today. The one, the only, Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. I hope you are staying cool, which might be easier said than done over there in France. Apparently, all of the heat is moving over Europe. So it is leaving us and it is going further over, I think it's towards the east, northeast. So if you are living in the northeast of Europe, things might be getting hot over the next few days, but please drink plenty of water and stay cool. Also, we have, who else is here today? I don't want to miss anyone out because I always feel guilty. Life Beauty Bits. Hello, Life Beauty Bits. I haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been? Thank you for joining me again. It's nice to see you back. It's always nice to see people come back and say hi. It is always a pleasure to do that. Claudia is here. Hello, Claudia. Do you know what I haven't done for a long time? For quite a while, I have not asked this question.
What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in your pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in your pot?
Come on, Claudia, what do you have in your pot today? Is it something spicy or salty? Or maybe it is something cold. please let us know. Yes, the football is still going on. England, well done, England. Yes, you won again. Panama, 2-0. Congratulations to England. We will see what happens on Wednesday, because England are playing on Wednesday. They are playing Dr. Congo. At least that's what it looks like to me whenever I read it. The Democratic Republic of Congo always looks like Dr. Congo. I wish I had a doctor called Dr. Congo, because he sounds like he might be a lot of fun to be around. So that is what is happening with the England team. Scotland did not do so well, unfortunately, in their latest match. But of course, there is still a long way to go. Anything, and I mean anything, can happen and will happen, no doubt. I've had some messages come through asking me to mention Venezuela, and I'm going to do that now. So if you are watching there at the moment, I hope you are safe and well. Terrible scenes coming out from there over the last couple of days. So I want to send my best wishes to you if you are watching there at the moment. Really, really upsetting to see the scenes on TV over the past couple of days. We also have Irene, who is joining us today. Hello, Irene. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's nice to see you here on the live stream. Lots of things coming up. Can I show you something? Now, a lot of people have a certain thing that they might miss when they go away on holiday, or perhaps when you return from your holiday. There is always something that makes you feel as if you have arrived back home. And I'm going to show you something now that I love seeing. Whenever we return to Much Wenlock, there is always a lovely view that we see as we drive along the road. I'm going to show it to you now. So here it is. We are driving along the road, approaching Much Wenlock, but around about 3 miles away, before we get there, there is the most amazing view that we get on the road. So I've actually slowed this video down to make it a little easier to watch. But if you look into the distance, you get this amazing view looking across the countryside. And whenever I see that view, I always feel happy, because I know that I'm back. I know I've returned to Shrewsbury or Shropshire or the surrounding area. So this is normally what we see when we drive towards Much Wenlock before we turn onto the main road that heads towards Much Wenlock. And I don't know why, I always smile. I have a little smile on my face whenever I see this particular view as Mr. Steve is driving along the road. Isn't that lovely? So what about you? Is there something that you see in the road, or maybe a view, or maybe a certain landmark that makes you realize that you are back home? Especially when you've been away for a while. And it does happen. Sometimes you go away, maybe you travel to another country, but when you return back to where you live, there is always something that you see or you notice after returning. And it always feels as if it is welcoming you back. It is saying, welcome back. We have missed you. So that is my lovely magic view that I love seeing whenever we return back home. You can see the sunlight is coming into the studio. It's very unusual. I don't normally have natural light in the studio, but today I've opened the window and I've taken away the blinds So all of the light coming in from over there at the moment is natural light. It is real sunlight, because I've opened the window, unfortunately, which means that the flies will probably also come in as well. We have a mystery object for you today, coming up in a few moments. Something we use quite often. It is a type of tool. But first of all, there is a word that I would like to show you. A word that we can use in lots of ways as both a noun and a verb. The word is bing, scar. Scar. The word scar as a noun refers to a mark left by a wound on the skin. So on your body, on my body, I know I have at least 3 or 4 scars on my body in various places and for many reasons. In fact, one of the scars on my body is down there, around the back. That's all I'm saying for now. So the word scar is a noun, and also it can be used as a verb as well. So the healing process after having an injury, some damage to your skin, quite often after the healing process has taken place, there will often be a scar. The word scar, as I said a few moments ago, can be a noun. So the scar is what is formed, but also the scar is what is left as well. Something can leave a scar. The word can also be a verb. So to scar something is the action of leaving a scar. Damage that is caused that leads to a scar being left. To scar someone. Figuratively, we can also use the word scar. Perhaps a bad event, something bad in your life, something that has caused some sort of upset or trauma can be described as a scar. Something that is in your memory, a bad moment of time, an event, a thing that has scarred you. Your personality, your character can be scarred by a terrible event, something that has happened that has created a scar in your memory, something that has affected you in some way. Psychologically, can also be described as a scar. Again, we can use it as both a noun and a verb. So a bad childhood memory, something that happened in your childhood, can leave a scar. You can be scarred by a terrible event. Basically put, you can have a physical scar, something you can see, something that is physical, or a psychological scar, something that has affected you psychologically. It has changed your personality. Maybe an event from your past that you keep reliving. Post-traumatic stress can be described as a type of psychological scar. Maybe a thing that you've experienced or been through leaves a scar. We can often use the phrase scarred for life. Something that has scarred you, a type of scar that will never go away. Again, we can say that a person has been injured. They have been scarred for life. Or, of course, once again, psychologically, we can say that someone has been scarred for life. Something will never go away. A mark, damage to your skin, or maybe a psychological injury that leaves you scarred for life. The mark will never go away, ever. I think it's a very interesting word because it's one that we use quite often to describe the effect of something that has happened to you. I can think of certain situations that have scarred me in a certain way, psychologically. A bad event, maybe childhood trauma, can leave you scarred for life. Maruzio is talking on the live chat, and apparently you are at home, locked in the house with air conditioning. All I can say is I will never ever question how brilliant air conditioning is in the home. More and more people now in England are starting to have air conditioning put into their houses for obvious reasons. Mainly because the environment is changing. We are having very hot summers. We've just had the hottest period on record in June. And when you think about it, summer hasn't even started yet. We are still a long way from the height of summer. So there is a chance that during July and August it might even get hotter. It might get even hotter than it was this month. So we will see what happens. Maruzio says, I am in Rome and today we have 38 Celsius. That is hot. So please stay cool. But at least a good thing is if you stay in the house, if you have your air conditioning, and you can watch this as well. I can't think of a better way of spending the day, if I was honest with you. I can't think of anything better. I can hear the sheep in the field at the back. I don't think you can because they're too far away, but I can hear the sheep getting very excited. Talking of which, we had a very hungry sheep coming over our fence the other night. Would you like to have a look? So this particular sheep, I think, was getting rather hungry. So it decided to climb up the fence and have a look in the garden. And then it started eating one of our bushes. So you can see sometimes sheep, when they discover something tasty to eat, they can get rather excited. So this is what I noticed the other night. One very hungry sheep decided to climb up the fence and start chewing one of the bushes at the back of the house. Now normally it is the cows that come and eat the bushes. But this year we don't have any cows at the back of the house, but we do have lots and lots of sheep. And this particular sheep was getting very hungry. It's amazing what you can see when you are surrounded by nature. One of the wonderful things that I really enjoy about living in the countryside is you never know what you are going to see next. You never know. And nature is a wonderful thing. It can be nice to watch. It can be lovely. But as we all know, nature can also be rather cruel as well. We have the mystery object. We are looking at a tool in a few moments from now, a certain type of tool, and I will be talking about it as well. So I will show you the tool and we will be talking about it as well, the types of uses that it has, and also the shapes and the sizes that it comes in. All of that coming up in a few moments from now. I mentioned the football a few moments ago as well, and yes, the World Cup is being played, but the big question is, will England win the Cup this year? Who knows? Who will win the World Cup this year? Only time will tell.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun.
We are having fun today. It's a hot day, but not as hot as it was last week. We had 34, 35 degrees here in England, where I was sweating last week. I was finding my own little safe space to hide, which was upstairs next to the newly installed air conditioning. More and more people are having it here in England. And well, I suppose one of the things that people are talking about at the moment is the change in the environment. The summers seem to be getting warmer. And I suppose to a certain degree, it is true. So the future is very hard to guess. We can only work out certain things over a particular period of time, guessing what will happen in the future, trying to predict the future. That is one of the big subjects we are talking about today. We will be looking at that. Right now, though, we have the mystery object. We are going to talk about one particular object. I will show you what it is. You can give me your own words to describe it, and then I will talk about it as well and give you the answer.
What is the object? Do you know what it could be? Do you know what is the object? Have a guess and we will see. Have a guess and we will see.
Yes, today's mystery object is coming up right now. Are you ready? It is something we use quite often for carrying out certain tasks, certain things we have to do. Here is today's mystery object. I think it's easy, but some people might want to have more information about it, which is what I will be doing in a moment. Today's mystery object. What is it? You have to be careful with this, because if you are not careful, you might end up with a scar. Something that we use quite often for certain jobs, or maybe in a certain type of profession as well. You will see this particular thing being used. You can even play it as a musical instrument. I remember growing up in the 1970s, and there would always be someone on television playing one of these, as if it was a musical instrument. Oh, very interesting. Lewis, also Beatrice. There is something I have to say. Hello, Bindu Yadav. There is something I have to say. What do you have to say? Is it something nice? I hope so. Something I have to say. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Vitas. Yes, a lot of people are guessing this, but this is a particular type of tool for doing one certain job. However, I'm going to mention the fact that this also comes in different designs for other uses as well. Bindur Yadav says, today is my birthday. Is it your birthday today? Well, all I can say is happy birthday to you. Bindu Yadav, happy birthday to you, and have a super day. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Claudia. Yes, it does seem like a simple object, one that is used for certain tasks. And I will tell you what it is right now, and then we will look at other words and other types of tool that look like this but have different uses as well. Here it comes. Bing! This is a saw. Saw. S-A-W. Saw. It is a type of tool. I know that Mr. Steve has one of these hanging up in his shed, and he uses it sometimes. A saw is a type of tool used for cutting through tough material such as wood and metal. So generally, the word saw is a type of tool for cutting through hard or tough material such as wood and metal. So different saws, different designs of saw will have a different shape or size. However, a saw has one metal edge. So all saws, all types of saws will have one metal edge consisting of sharp, jagged teeth. Some very interesting words coming out today. Jagged. Jagged. I like that word. Something that is jagged. You can see here that the edge of a saw has jagged teeth, which are capable of cutting through solid material. They are very useful for cutting through something. Certain types of knife will also have a jagged edge. A bread knife, for example. If you go to your kitchen, maybe there is a bread knife in your kitchen which carries out the same task. It has a very interesting edge. So a saw has one metal edge consisting of sharp, jagged teeth. They are capable of cutting through hard or solid material. You can describe this edge as being serrated. Oh, another interesting word. Something that is serrated is sharp. It has sharp edges. Something that is serrated. This is a serrated edge. A bread knife, saw, they both have serrated edges. Another interesting word. We are using some good words today. A typical saw is used for cutting wood. So this particular type of saw is a wood saw. It is used for cutting wood. General cutting of wood. If you have a piece of wood that you need to cut in half, or maybe you are cutting part of a tree as well, removing part of a tree. So this particular type of saw is a wood saw. And this moves on quite nicely to the fact that there are different types of saw. So this is just one of many different types of saw that exists. So this particular saw is often used for cutting through wood, pieces of wood, maybe something you have to cut in half, a piece of wood, if you are doing certain types of tasks. And then we have a small saw. This one is much smaller. And this one is used normally for furniture making. So if you are doing carpentry, if you are using wood to make things, we describe that as carpentry. So this particular type of saw is called a tenon saw. It's a much smaller saw, quite often used when you are cutting wood in a very precise way. You use this particular type of saw for creating furniture. It is used in carpentry, for example, in furniture making. So if you are making your own furniture, quite often you will use this particular type of saw. It is much more precise and accurate. Then we have another type of saw. This particular one is called a hacksaw. Hacksaw. And this is often used for cutting metal. Pieces of metal, quite often copper pipes. A person who has to cut through pipes will use a hacksaw. It has a much finer blade for cutting through metal. But quite often you will see this used by plumbers, a person who has to fix pipes together. Maybe they have to cut them to a certain size. You will use a hacksaw. Then we have another one. This one is a little bit more vigorous. If you need to cut something large and quickly, you will use one of these. This is a buzz saw. It is used for cutting long or wide pieces of wood, quite often on a bench. So you can use this freely in your hand, or you can have it fixed inside a bench. You can put the wood on top of the saw It can also be described as a power saw as well. So this particular type of saw is often used in professional workshops. It is a type of saw that has to be used carefully for obvious reasons. I think you know what they are. Then we can also describe this as a circular saw. So you can see that the blade is actually on a disc. The blade spins around. And you can use this to cut through things very quickly and also very precisely as well in a straight line. So that is the reason why this type of saw is very popular. Then, of course, we go to the big one. This is the one that everyone would like to have a try with. Mr. Steve wanted to buy one of these. Can you believe it? Steve wanted to buy a chainsaw a couple of years ago. And I said, no, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it is a good idea to buy a chainsaw. I can't imagine Mr. Steve using a chainsaw. This is professional equipment. You have to know what you're doing before you handle one of these particular things. Chainsaws, they are very useful for cutting through large pieces of wood. For example, quite often a chainsaw is used for cutting trees. You cut through a tree. You might be chopping down a tree. You will often use a chainsaw to do that. It is a type of saw that can cut through virtually anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. So this is a type of heavy-duty saw. A chainsaw is one that you use for doing big jobs, heavy jobs. Cutting down a tree. You might have to fell a tree. Fell. If you fell a tree, it means you cut it down. It's a very interesting word. So if you want to remove a tree completely, you will fell the tree. That means you cut through the base and the whole tree falls down. Mr. Duncan, there is also a horror movie as well. Hello, Ong So. Yes, you are right. Yes. You have to be very careful when you are using a chainsaw. And that is the reason why I would not let Mr. Steve have one. Because, to be honest with you, I can't imagine Mr. Steve actually having a chainsaw or using one. Purely for safety. That is all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about safety. What about you? Have you ever used a chainsaw? Is it something you've had a go at? Is it something you've tried? Maybe you are a person who works with wood. Perhaps you are a person who cuts down trees. Perhaps you are a lumberjack. A person who cuts down trees is often described as a lumberjack. So today's object was a simple one, but one that is very useful. Today's object was a saw. And that was today's mystery object.
What is the object? Do you know what it could be? Do you know what is the object? Have a guess and we will see.
Have a guess and we'll see.
Another one coming next week, of course. English Addict is with you today on a hot one. We've had such a hot week. I can't begin to tell you how hot it's been here. So maybe you are in a part of the world that isn't hot at the moment. Maybe you are somewhere where you are having spring, or maybe autumn or winter. In which case, I hope you are staying nice and cool. Unfortunately, over the past few days, we have had a lot of severe heat. And people are now trying to work out whether this will be something that will happen in the future. Something that might be around every year. Trying to predict the future is what we are looking at today. We are having fun today. I hope you are enjoying this episode of English Addict. Don't forget you can watch all of my English Addict live streams from last week, last month, even last year. In fact, this year, in July, it will be 10 years since I started doing live streams. And of course, in October this year, it will be 20 years that I've been here on YouTube teaching English. And to be honest with you, I really can't believe that it's true. We have big subjects today. We are looking at our mystery, not the objects, but actually the idioms. So we have mystery objects, and then later on we have mystery idioms as well. So lots to keep us occupied today. Also subjects as well. I love looking at subjects, certain words, certain ways of thinking, things that affect us all in our day-to-day lives. I've just been asked by Bindu, why do people keep cutting down trees? Well, I have to be honest with you. I am another person similar to you. Maybe you don't like people cutting down trees. And I have to say, I have the same feeling as you. I always feel sad when I see a tree, especially an old tree that's been around for many years, when it gets cut down. Someone decides that they don't want it anymore. They decide to cut it down. Of course, sometimes trees are damaged by the wind and then they become dangerous. So they must be cut back or cut down completely. So there are sometimes reasons why you have to cut down a tree. But to be honest with you, I don't like to see things like trees or any type of nature being destroyed, especially when there is no reason for it to happen. Here we go then. Today we are going to take a look into the future. What does the future hold? Is it possible to look into the future and work out what will happen next? That is today's big topic, and we are starting to talk about it right now. Predict the future. Is it possible to predict the future? Well, first of all, the word predict means to state future events. So things you are trying to work out that may happen in the future. Predict. You look at the things around you now, and from that you try to predict the future. You try to work out or guess what will happen next. A prediction is made based on current information. So quite often we will use information that we have now to work out what will happen later. It is a standard way of doing that. In any situation, if you are trying to guess what will happen next, quite often you will look at the things that are happening now. It is a normal way of doing it, a normal way of predicting. A prediction is normally made for a certain amount of time. When I say amount of time or a certain amount of time, I mean within a period of time in the future. Maybe over the next 12 months, maybe the next 5 years, perhaps the next 50 years. So a prediction is normally made over a certain period of time. You are trying to predict what will happen over a certain period. You try to predict what will happen in the future. We can say that you look ahead. You look ahead. To look ahead, rather like driving a car. You are looking ahead at the road in front of you. You are trying to predict. You are trying to look ahead for things that might come at you suddenly. To look ahead, to forecast. Forecast. Certain types of forecast might be carried out. For example, the most obvious one is the weather. Weather forecasts. Quite often an expert will talk about the prediction for the weather. Maybe the weather for this afternoon, or maybe the weather for tomorrow, or maybe over the next few days, or even the next few years as well. You try to foretell. Foretell means to predict. You are saying what might happen next. You are saying what might happen in the future. Foretell. Predict. Of course, the main word we are looking at today is predict. Foresee. Again, another interesting word. To foresee is to look ahead. For is the future. See is to observe. You see. You try to look into the future. And of course, we have the word anticipate as well. Anticipate can also refer to being prepared for something that will happen. You are expecting it to happen. It might happen soon. It might happen later. You anticipate that particular thing. You are preparing for it. You might even say you are ready for it. A prediction is assumed to be accurate to a certain degree. So I don't think it is possible to make a complete guess that is 100% accurate. So even predictions quite often are not 100% accurate. To be accurate means to be precise, correct, accurate. Past events are usually analysed when forming a prediction. So one of the ways of predicting the future is to look at what is happening now, what has happened before in the past. So the past is always a good way of working out or guessing what will happen next. In fact, that is how the weather is often forecast. We forecast the weather by looking at the weather patterns from the past. And then using computers, you can predict to a certain degree what the weather will do next. And that is how they do it nowadays. They often use computers to work out what the weather will do. So I suppose that's one of the reasons why these days the weather forecast is always quite accurate. There can be a margin of error. The phrase margin of error when predicting something. Margin of error refers to the slight variation in that prediction. So you might predict a certain thing, but there might be error on either side. We often refer to it as the margin of error, the amount that something might be incorrect by. It is the margin of error. Science can help us determine future natural events. So it is true. I would say that science is one of the main ways of working out what will happen next with certain types of events, natural, things happening in the physical world, things that can help humanity move forward. Science can help us determine future natural events. Certain types of things that will happen or might happen in the future. Scientific predictions are often accurate and precise. And this is true to a certain degree. But even science can't always get everything right. For example, it can be very good for predicting things like the solar eclipse. We can use science to work out the patterns in nature. And because of that, we are able to work out when certain natural events will happen. The eclipse, for example, when the moon passes over the sun, you will have an eclipse. Scientists are able to predict quite accurately when these will happen because they've happened in the past. And then, of course, we have other things happening in deep space. We can watch what is happening in deep space, in outer space, meteorites, planets. Over time, we are looking further and further away. And the further away we look, the more we understand what is happening around us. So quite often, science is a good way of predicting the future or looking at certain types of natural event. Weather predictions are more accurate now than in the past. This is true. I think it is fair to say. I remember a couple of weeks ago watching the TV, and some of the weather forecasters were saying that the weather is going to become hot. And they were right. It did become hot. Very hot, in fact. So weather predictions are more accurate these days, but not 100%. They still make mistakes and they still get it wrong. Certain types of weather are hard to predict. A good example is snow. Snow is very hard to predict because certain changes in the weather can occur suddenly, and those changes can bring snow or bring rain. Sometimes it is hard to predict certain types of weather. That's one of the reasons why here in the UK, whenever we have a snowy winter, quite often it is hard to predict how much snow will fall and where it will actually fall. So snow is one of those types of weather events that is difficult to predict. Even now, some natural occurrences are hard to foresee. And I suppose we can name one or two natural events. Earthquakes being an interesting example, especially with the recent events that have been happening. Also, we have things like typhoons, monsoons. Sometimes they can be hard to predict or foresee. Economics uses a certain amount of data to predict the future. So I think this is always an interesting one, and this is one that I've debated in the past with Mr. Steve. Economics. Everyone is an expert on economics, but as history has shown, it is very hard to predict economics because quite often things happen, things change very quickly without warning. We all remember 2008 when we had the big economic crash. Here in the UK, we were badly affected by that particular thing. Yet, no one saw it coming. No one predicted it. No one said that the economy or the economies of the world will suddenly start to collapse across the US, across the UK, and other parts of the world. And some people are still feeling the effects of that all these years later. So I think in economics, I think it is sometimes hard to predict what will happen next. You can probably have 2 or 3 guesses, but you can't 100% say that is exactly what is going to happen. I don't think it's possible to do that because there have been so many economic problems around the world that were not predicted. They happened suddenly. They happened quickly. The actions of 1 or 2 individuals can change the way other things behave. So economics is very hard to predict. It is very hard to predict. The trend of something can help to make a prediction. So we can see trends. When we talk about the trend, we are talking about the pattern of a certain thing. So if you look back over time, you can see certain patterns happening, trends. What is going on? What is happening? What are people doing? What are they buying? What do they want? From that, you can predict certain things by using trends. Many things are almost impossible to predict. And yes, that is true. There are many things that you cannot predict. You might wake up in the morning and open your eyes, get out of bed. But you have no idea what will happen. The unexpected, the things that happen without you being prepared for them. That is the future. A prediction made without knowledge is a gamble. You might take a gamble. For example, if you go to a casino, you take your money with you. You might not be leaving with your money, or you might leave with more money. It is very hard to predict. So quite often, if you have a prediction, quite often you have some idea of what the outcome will be. You are certain to a certain degree. You are sure, but not 100%. A prediction made without knowledge is a gamble. You are doing something without knowing what the outcome will be. Playing roulette is a gamble. Playing the lottery is a gamble. You are putting something forward, normally money. You might win, you might lose, but you can't predict what will happen. General predictions about the future can be made, but are not reliable. And I think it is true to say, I think it is fair to say that no one can predict the future completely. You might have ideas, you might have thoughts and feelings about the future, but it is hard to accurately predict. A person might claim to be able to predict the future. A person might say that they have power, they have a special ability to predict the future. I think you can guess what is going to happen next. There are people who believe that they have the power to predict the future. A fortune teller is a person who uses a certain tool to predict the future. They are using some other power to tell you what will happen in your life. For example, they might use tarot cards, a type of card that has an individual symbol on the front. And people who predict the future will use these cards to tell you what your future will be, if you believe that sort of thing. A person might want to read your tea leaves. So you have your cup of tea, and then afterwards a person will look at your tea leaves and they will predict your future. Just from looking at your tea leaves. And then, of course, we have the crystal ball as well. A person will look into their crystal ball and they will see visions of your future. I've never been to a fortune teller, never in my life. Basically because I don't believe in it, really, if I was honest with you. Nobody really knows what lies ahead for us in the future. Myself, you, all of us. We don't really know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know what will happen in the next 5 minutes. You can't predict the future. You can work out what might happen, but it is very hard to work out what will happen. Certainly in life, it is very hard to predict what will happen next. In fact, some people say these days it is very hard to predict what people will do next. Random is a word we often use. Life these days is random. You never know what is going to happen next. The choices we make will be what shapes the future. So quite often, what happens next will be decided by you and the things you do, the choices you'll make. So your choices, the things you do, the things you say. You make a decision. You have a choice and you choose one thing. All of those moments of time will determine what happens next. Another reason why the future is very hard to predict. In reality, the future is not ours to see, and we often use this expression when we are talking about the action of trying to guess the future. The future is not ours to see. Quite often things come along, things happen, things you were not expecting. You can predict, but quite often those predictions are not accurate. Although it is fun to try and do it. It is fun to try and guess what will happen next. I have to say, I am intrigued by the future. The future is an interesting thing because it is unknown. You can't see it. You have to wait for it to come. You have to wait for it to happen. I know it is a big subject, but I think it is also an interesting subject as well, because it gives me a chance to talk about a certain subject, and also it allows you to listen as well, which is the reason why we are here on English Addict. Every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm here with you. I was talking about the sheep earlier. Would you like to see the sheep at the back of the house? Now, they arrived in May and they are still at the back of the house, even though the weather over the past few days has been really hot. Beautiful memories of summer And I have to say, this summer has been memorable for many reasons. First of all, we had lots of lovely sheep at the back of the house. They are still there now, although they have been suffering over the past few days with the extreme temperatures, the extreme heat we've all been having here in England. And also this year because of, well, I suppose the long hot summer that would appear to be continuing over the next few days. Maybe even into July, because next week, of course, it is July. July is here. And then, of course, after that, we have August. You know what I'm going to say. You know why I love August very much. That's all I'm saying for now, but you know why. It's my birthday in August. I always get excited, you see. I don't know why. I shouldn't be. I should not be excited about my birthday. I shouldn't. Because I'm getting older and older. If you are waiting to play Guess the Picture idiom, guess what? You don't have to wait much longer, because we are going to do that right now. The picture idiom, it is a simple game. All you have to do is tell me what you see on the screen. What do you see on the screen? And that is how we play the game. All you have to do is take a look at the picture, and each picture will relate to a certain phrase in the English language. The first one is coming up right now. Are you ready? Here it comes. Guess the picture idiom. It is a well-known expression. Maybe a person has made an arrangement to meet up or do something, but then they have to cancel that particular thing. And you both agree to do it at a later date, in the future. You agree to do it later, at a particular time, which you will then arrange. Today's picture idioms, I think this one is easy. It is one we often use. We often think of this actually in American English. A lot of people say that this particular phrase is used a lot in American English, but I would also say these days we also use it in British English as well. It is used a lot in British English as well. Interesting. Can you hear the pheasant? There is a pheasant outside my studio window, getting a bit angry. I don't know why. I'm not sure if you can hear it. All of nature is coming into my studio today because I have the windows open, because it's so hot. Yes, this is a phrase that we use often when we want to arrange something later. Something that you have cancelled, but you want to do it later. You want to do it later on, at another time. And then you will arrange that time in the future. Oh, Alessandro. Very good. Life Beauty Bits. Save the money for a rainy day. Well, that is actually a good guess, because that is a real phrase, to save something for a rainy day. But this particular phrase is used a lot in English. when we want to talk about doing something later because we have had to cancel that particular thing. So if you cancel something, you stop that thing, you might decide to arrange it for later. The answer is, here it comes. Are you ready for the answer now? You take a rain check. A rain check. You take a rain check. A promise made to do something at a later date. You postpone something. You do it on another day. So this comes from the United States when a game, a baseball game, is postponed because of the rain. And then you can go and see the match later. You have a rain check. So the rain check allows you to go back and watch that match at a later date because it has been cancelled. So it is postponed, but you can go and see the match later when it is held on another day. A rain check. And we do use this phrase nowadays in British English as well. It has come into our vocabulary as well. To take a rain check is to arrange to do a certain thing on another day, at another time. You postpone something. So there is an interesting word as well, the word postpone. To put off. You delay a certain thing to another time. You agree to do it later. So there is the first one. Take a rain check. Would you like another one? Okay, here is another one. I'm not sure if this is a good one or not. Here goes. The next mystery idiom, just say what you see. Say what you see. What is happening here? A person who is no longer alive, a person who is no longer here, a person who has expired. It is a phrase we often use. I would say that we use this particular phrase in a funny way. Comical. Almost as a joke, even though the subject is something rather unpleasant or sad. Oh. 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 Very interesting. Valentin. Paco. Very interesting. Yes, I'm not sure if this is a nice phrase or not. Alessandro, you are very close. Alessandro, you are very near. Thank you, Lewis, for your guess as well. A very interesting phrase. We often use this in British English as a joke. So if you are talking about something unpleasant, quite often we will make it into a joke. It is something the British do quite often. It is a very interesting part of English humour. We often look at the funny side of everything, even the unpleasant things. We will often talk about them almost as a joke. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you also, Vietas, and also Life Beauty Bits as well. Yes. What is he doing? a certain thing. Maybe one day I will do that. Maybe one day I will do that very thing. Statistically, the chances are very high. Here is the answer. I will try to do one more before we go. So the answer, yes, congratulations. Quite a few people got it right. Doppelganger. Thank you, Doppelganger, for your guess. By the way, hello, welcome. The answer is... oh dear. Kick the bucket. If a person kicks the bucket, it means they die. A humorous way of expressing to die. He has kicked the bucket. He has expired. He has gone. A person has died. They have kicked the bucket. A very good example of dark humour, which the British are very good at. For some reason, I don't know why, but we always find these dark subjects very interesting when we want to make a joke. I don't know why. So there it was, today's second mystery idiom. I think we will have one more. We will have one more, and then I'm going. I'm going outside to cool off, hopefully. Here is the next one. Are you ready for the next mystery idiom? Just say what you see, say what you see. Now. Oh, okay. Some very interesting images today going through. Guess the picture idiom. This is an interesting phrase that we often use when we are describing a person who is trying too hard. They are doing more than they should. They are doing too much. You are putting too much effort into something. You are almost becoming obsessed with a certain thing. This is a phrase that we use in English to describe that particular thing. So maybe if a person is putting too much time or too much effort into doing something, we will use this particular phrase. Beatrice says, when we say kick the bucket, we use the phrase stretch out your legs. Yeah? Stretch your leg. To be dead. Paco. Thank you, Paco, for your guess. That is a good guess. In fact, you are very close. Very close. To do something with too much effort. You are doing that particular thing too much. You don't have to do this. There is no need to do this. You don't have to do it. You don't have to put so much effort to become obsessed with something where you can't stop doing it. You put too much time, too much effort. You do this. Abandon the ship, Mr. Duncan. Thank you, Alessandro, for that. Yes, I suppose you could say abandon the ship. It does look like that. It does look like that. You are right. Quite often we use this phrase when we are talking to a person who is doing too much. They are putting too much effort, too much work into a certain thing. A person who becomes obsessed with something is often described as this. But what is the phrase? Thank you, Beatrice, for your guess. Interesting. Hello, Rick Shee. Hello, Rick. Rick Shee. Nice to see you here. Thank you for your guess. Jump into the sea. Although, to be honest with you, it doesn't look as if he is jumping into the sea. It looks like he's falling into the sea. Inaki, yes, very good. Some very interesting guesses coming through here. I am intrigued by your guesses. Hello. Oh, we have Turkey watching. Hello, Turkey. Nice to see you here today. Zekio Ziri says, hi from Turkey. A big hello to you. I have been to Turkey in the past, twice. I had 2 lovely holidays in Turkey. Here is the answer then. It is an interesting one. It is one that we use when a person is doing too much, they are putting too much effort, or they are becoming obsessed with something. You do this. You go overboard. To do more than is required or necessary, you go overboard. You do more than you need to. He has gone overboard with the party plans. To go overboard means to do more than you should or more than is needed. To do more than is required or necessary. We say the person goes overboard. Too much. You don't have to work so hard. You don't have to try so hard. Be natural. There is no need to go overboard. A person who becomes obsessed with something might also be described as going overboard with whatever it is they are interested in. And that is today's final phrase. I am going in a moment. It is hot in this country. Very hot. I'm getting political comments coming through. Thank you, Alexander. I'm not sure if that is a political comment. But I hear what you're saying. Thank you very much for your political comment. Palmyra says, I am going now. Well, guess what? So am I. I will be back with you next week, next Sunday. Of course, I'm back with you. And it is July. Next Sunday, we will be into July. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. I hope you are feeling much more comfortable today after last week's heat wave. According to the news, today on the news, it says that the heat wave is officially over. Wow, that's good news. That's all I can say. That is very good news. So apparently the heat wave that we have been suffering over the past few days is now officially over. Well, isn't that good? I'm very pleased about that. Thank you very much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Don't forget, you can watch this again later with lovely captions, and you can watch this in your own language as well with the translation in the captions later on. So you might have to wait for a few hours, but it will be available. Thank you for your company. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We never did find out what Claudia had in her pot. What did you have in your pot today, Claudia? We never did find out, did we? Thank you very much, Vitas. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Life Beauty Bits. Thank you for such an interesting and useful English language live stream. You are welcome. See you next Sunday. Take care of yourself. This is Mr. Duncan, that's me by the way, saying thanks for watching. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Whatever you are doing, do it with a smile on your face. And I will see you later. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Stay cool. Ta-ta for now.
Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat. Learn together and have fun. Say goodbye to Duncan and all the lovely words and phrases of the English language. Join with Mr. Duncan on the live chat.